Good. Thank you.
What's your impressions?
Well, they had this idea, let's shoot a promo for game day in the middle of the summer. And I said, how's that going to work? The students aren't there. Who's going to turn up? Who's going to change their plans? Who's going to travel back to campus? But I should have known that places like A&M would exist where they would win the vote fair and square and turn out in awesome numbers. I walked around the corner after hearing the roar outside the stadium, and it's kind of surreal because it's a long way from football season. At least it feels like that to me, and yet they've done a great job filling up the section, doing what we need for the promo shoot, and I hope they have a lot of fun, and it's great for us to be here.
People have been camping out since 12 o'clock today in 100-plus degree weather. I mean, do you think that just shows kind of their dedication as a 12th man and kind of shows, what Aggies are all about?
Camping out in 100-degree weather, I said they were loyal. I didn't say they were smart. No, I mean, that's what you do when you're that passionate. I mean, like I said, it doesn't really surprise me because it's well known around the country and certainly around the sport, the level of passion and loyalty here. And we're flattered. I mean, we're flattered because we know that it's more of a statement about what they think of their program than it is our program. But the lure of being on camera is pretty strong, too, for a lot of them. So it all worked out great. We're looking forward to it.
How well do you think A&M fits in the SEC?
It fits great. I mean, I think the geographic fit, every other component that goes into it, it makes it a great fit. I mean, obviously it's a major challenge. You go into the SEC West, which has produced 4 out of the last 5 national champs, as folks here well know, and it's pretty deep water, and the current's pretty swift. So you never really know until you jump in how tough it's going to be. But I think that Coach Sumlin is a great fit down here himself. The talent level is good enough, certainly, to debut in the SEC. We'll get better with him. And I think there's no reason why this program can't compete for championships pretty soon. But you step into it at the time the SEC West in particular has never been stronger, and the SEC depth is as good as it's ever been too. So the challenge is significant, as everybody knows.
I know you don't make the decision, but any chance game day coming here this year, big year for A&M?
Who told you I didn't make the decisions?
Oh, well, maybe you do.
We don't want that responsibility. Now there's suits in Connecticut who make those decisions, but certainly the A&M Florida game is on our grid. We have a preseason grid where we look at all the games each week, and we only decide on the first week, and then we kind of see what happens. And obviously, everybody here would assume you go to Louisiana Tech and win, but there's some pretty pumped up fans down there on a Thursday night in Ruston that the Aggies have to be careful for the upset trap, and that's why we don't plan ahead and pick the sites that far in advance. We want to see what happens. I mean, A&M Florida is very much on the center of that grid. There's another school in Missouri that's debuting in the SEC with Georgia visiting, which is slightly higher regarded than Florida is. But, there's a lot of components that go into it. The game day atmosphere here is certainly a big part of the equation for us, and you can't beat A&M for that. So we'll see.
Why do you think Coach Sumlin is such a good fit down here, Chris?
He's been here as an assistant. He knows the state. He knows the recruiting in the state. He brings a fresh enthusiasm, brings an offensive approach. I mean, listen, that's just my opinion. I admired his Houston teams. We'll see how it works out. I mean, everybody's undefeated. Everybody's got a great honeymoon until you start playing the games, and he's standing right over there. But I think that it's just my feeling that admiring what he's done at Houston and knowing him a little bit. I knew him at Oklahoma. Got to know him when he was an assistant in Norman. And I've always been impressed by him, and I think he's got a lot of things that you'd look for in a head coach. But as I said, it's pretty deep water with swift current in this league. So if you can't coach, you're exposed pretty quickly. And if there's some weakness in your game, you're exposed quickly. So we'll all find out together. But I think that he's a really impressive guy, and I do have high hopes for him here. We good? Thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate you.